There's three things you can measure in a market. You can measure the direction, you can measure the volatility, and you can measure the momentum. Momentum is how far a market moves from where it was at some period in the past. So the further away it moves and the shorter period of time it does it, the greater the momentum. It's basically the slope of how far that market moves over time. The volatility is how big the ranges get. So you can have high volatility and go nowhere, right? The ranges can keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and you can be going sideways, right? When you look at it from a trading standpoint, right? When you have money and you have to allocate it to a market, you're going to look at two things, momentum and volatility. You're willing to invest money in a volatile market, even though it's not going someplace, because you can devise a strategy around a range-bound market. What you really want to do is get the best return on your money. So you're going to deploy money in a market where it's moving. You're really going to look at volatility. The other place you're going to look at is momentum, because clearly you make money as markets move, right? If they move away from a point, you get the same benefit. So you're going to deploy money where a market's willing to move. So let's look at a difference between momentum and volatility. Different periods of time, you can have different things happening in the market in terms of the relationship between momentum and volatility. You'll see here that as these bars, see how these bars are pretty small and they start getting bigger and bigger and bigger? The market's not going anyplace. It's still kind of stuck in that same spot, right? You notice the volatility is increasing now because the bars are getting bigger. But what's happening to the momentum? It's not doing anything. It's actually drifting down a little bit because it's not moving away from a point. It's not moving away from where it was in the past, right? On the other side, market's moving up, right? It's moving away. This bar is much further away from this bar. So it's starting to show a direction. So it's got momentum, but it doesn't really have any volatility because the bars aren't getting bigger. They're getting smaller.